everybody. Welcome back to the Leo Effects. I just love the amount of cheese that's in that video. It's so corny, but so great. It's produced by David DeSanto. So everybody send him the hate mail. All right. Now let's get right to it. Tonight, my special guest, a musical sensation that I've been super eager to talk to. He's putting out some really great music, and I believe it was March 26th he had something come out, but I'm not going to take that away from him. I'm going to let him tell you all about it. So please allow me to introduce tonight's guest, Luke Rhodes of Fallen Rhodes. Hello, Luke. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Good.
Things are slow getting back, opening up, but we're getting there.
And don't take away from that awesome song, man. I was rocking out over here. That's a great intro track for sure. And quick question. I don't want to derail this whole thing, but was that Pauly Shore in the first couple slides?
Yeah, that was
That's awesome. That is awesome. How many of your guests knew that that's who that was? Probably very few.
Sitting here thinking about it, I think you're the first one to ever actually bring it up.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was a lot of fun meeting him and getting to chat with him for a little bit. But yeah, the song itself, the guitar riffs and musical portion of that was done by a wonderful, wonderful musician named Rocky Kramer. He's on YouTube, got a lot of good stuff. And I asked him if he would do a song. So there's a plug for you, Rocky.
There you go.
But yeah, so man, we're not here to talk about an intro. We're here to talk about you.
Oh, let's do it then. Yeah, that sounds great.
So, like I kind of said already, you had something come out, what, March 26th?
Yeah, that sounds right. We've had a couple singles come out, and by we, I mean me. I used to have a band, but now it's just kind of me and my producer cranking stuff out. But we
Okay.
had something come out in March, and then I think it was the end of January too. So a couple singles already this year, and hope to have a third out sometime in. I was going to say May, but then it's turned into June, and then it's July. So I'm just gonna say we're still working on it. You know what I mean? But it's coming
Yeah,
for sure.
sometime.
Um, yeah, at some point it's coming out. Still very excited about it. But man, like everybody else, COVID and all the logistics of what goes along with it, and just to be frank, the mental fatigue of trying to stay motivated on top of everything has been pretty rough. But you never quit. Always come back swinging harder than the last time. So we'll
That's
we'll
right.
get there. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
I will tell you, 2021 has definitely been better than 2020. So there is that.
Yeah, we've already got a one up. So
Yeah, you can only go up from there, right?
right, yeah.
You know,
2020 was kind of the bottom. That was kind of it.
I was a little worried there. I think like the first month or two of 2020, I'm like, oh man, here we go again. We're just gonna keep sinking, and then it started to kind of like come back up. So it's been good.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your single "Don't Fall," because that's kind of I feel like "Don't Fall" is might be sort of an anthem for what's going on right now, which is that everybody has been using the term cancel culture. So how does "Don't Fall" relate to cancel culture?
So Don't Fall, in its where it's kind of like its origin story comes from, kind of like where my background as and I apologize. Hopefully, you guys can't hear my dog whining in the background. It kind of comes from the idea of you can't. Well, I'll tell you where it ties into cancel culture. You can't make a wrong move, right? The idea of if you walk this straight and narrow, you do exactly what you're supposed to do, everything's copacetic, right? Everything's great. But once you make a wrong move, you are now dead to me, and there's nothing I can do to fix that. There's no making amends. For Don't Fall specifically, just a real quick origin story type thing.
Yeah.
I came from a very puritanical evangelical background that, and I even saw a big inspiration for the song in the writing was one of my best friends. When we were, I've known him since I was 12 years old. So we went to high school together at a Christian school, and they preach, love, forgiveness, acceptance. And I think one mistake he made. There was I think it was a weed found his car. It was out. That was it. There's no forgiveness, no talk of anything. You messed up. So you forgive and forget, except for when you do something that we don't like, and then you're gone. So
Right.
that's kind of where that came from. But I think it definitely applies to, like you said, in a lot of ways, cancel culture, where it's like, hey, if you don't abide and stay in this straight and narrow, vein that society has now chosen, you can be completely erased from everything. It seems like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, you know, to be fair, there are certainly people who are deserving, I think, of that, but there's a lot of people who are not, and it's kind of like who, now it's really the judge and jury is just the mass. You know what I mean? It's who can be
Yeah.
louder on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and that's just not. I don't know about you, man, but that's not who I want my judge and jury to be for anything, quite frankly. So
Absolutely right. Yeah. No, thank you. I mean, at some point, the people that were eating Tide Pods will be in charge of the world, but you know, for right now, we're just gonna roll with it.
they may already be in charge of the world. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sometimes that makes most sense now that you say that. Yeah, I think it could already be happening.
exactly, exactly. I had made jokes a while back when that was still like a real big deal, and I said, it was actually about the time that the elections were going on. I said, I was talking to my wife. I said, do you realize in the future their political standing and all of that is going to be based off of who ate the most Tide Pods and survived?
Yeah, survival of the fittest, baby,
Yeah,
at its
like
best.
that's going to be their platform. Like I ate 17 Tide Pods and I'm still here.
Yeah,
But so
you're probably not wrong.
rock
Let's talk
music.
music.
That
Or
that's your genre, you would say, right?
you said pop,
Rock.
rock. Okay, yeah, yeah, rock definitely. Like I have some. I mean, song structure tends to always, for me, be kind of in the pop vein, but it's rock. Yeah, it is, and I kind of want to. It's funny, the things I've written over time. Sometimes they come out real. I mean, real synth poppy, but I always kind of end up. I mean, any song produced in a certain way can be any other genre, right? I mean, we hear it all the time
Yeah.
with like people covering songs from different genres. You're like, oh wow, that was a really crazy bluegrass Michael Jackson cover. I never heard that coming, but it works sometimes, right? So I've taken songs I've written, and I will a lot of times do them on the piano, just me and a piano, or just me, and then a fun thing too. And rein me back in if I ramble too much, because I tend to do that when I start getting excited and talking about music. Um, but if I'm working on a song and I'm on a piano, a lot of times I'll switch to a guitar kind of like mid-flight, because a lot of times I'll get stuck too, because I play a piano a certain way and I have certain things I think about. And so then I'll hop to a guitar, and all of a sudden this whole thing kind of changes a little bit in vibe and feel and where it's going sometimes with that, because of that new perspective.
Gotcha.
And I love that. I think that's so cool. I actually am not a I'm not a great keyboard player by any means, but I'm a pianist, right? I'm a keyboard player, so like I can play the piano fairly effectively for my needs anyway.
Yeah.
Guitar, I'm more of like I'm a singer songwriter. I play chords, and every once in a while I'll pretend to have like a little lick here and there that sounds cool, but really like it's just it's I'm not a guitarist, right? But having that different perspective makes my brain just shift.
Yeah.
Um, but all of that still circles around the idea of a rock and roll kind of perspective. Rock, blues, gospel. I mean, if you listen to a lot of my stuff, it has a kind of a gospely um, vibe to it. I think there was a like a indie music like magazine or something that wrote. I think they said Southern gospel rock, and at first I was like, I don't like that, and then I was like, I think you're right. I think that's exactly what that is. Like I've people always ask me what kind of music I write. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like it's piano and guitar, and I guess it's rock. But then there's like, but people want more than just like it's rock, right?
Right.
Um, and so when they said Southern gospel rock, I was like, I think I've just been seen, and I didn't know that that's what it was. But yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
a long-winded way to say you're right. It's rock and roll. So
So kind of like the band The Heavy. You know, they've got like a heavy blues gospely kind of sound to them. So
yep, yep. I know the band, and I'm a fan. I am a fan.
yeah. So I mean, that's cool that you have kind of found that. Like, did you growing up and learning these instruments, did you have like a musical inspiration, like a certain band that you looked up to or musician, like solo musician?
Man, if you if we got too deep into my upbringing, it would be a man. We don't have time for all that. But the music in my household um, was so interesting, and I'm thankful for it. I really am. But like mostly like the biggest thing in my house that was played all the time was classical music, right?
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Beethoven, Wagner, Tchaikovsky, Liszt, Schumann, Schubert. I mean, it was like across the board, just like tons of classical music. But along with the classical, and this is all my father, thanks to my father. My musical taste comes from my father for sure. We'll get to my mom in a second, but my father was big on classical, but he also his favorite band was CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yep. Yep.
Fantastic stuff. I still love it. And then he'd also listen to Motown. And of the things that they loved, I mean, I think as far as genre of music, there's nothing better than Motown. I mean, Motown just has a great sound.
Yeah.
And of course, Creedence, I mean, great songwriting from John Fogerty. And then classical music, I still love it. I mean, I don't listen to it very often, quite frankly, just because, but it does have its time and place for sure. And I mean, you can definitely respect the form and the I mean all the theory and all the melodies and whatnot. Um, but all that to say is that I grew up with that, and then so I started playing piano from probably like 7 or 8. And like every kid that starts playing piano at 7 or 8, I hated it. I absolutely
Yeah.
despised it.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
of course.
right. I mean, we all do. I don't care what it is. Like your parents give it to you. You're like, I hate this. This is terrible. Like I don't want to do this. I want to do anything except for this thing you told me to do. And I did. And I can't tell you. I remember exactly when it happened. But there was a moment. I think at some point when I finally started playing with two hands, and it made sense, right? But like my brain all of a sudden was just like, oh my god, this is so great. I love playing this thing. And I would start playing and playing and playing. And I drove my parents insane because I found the sheet music to the Jurassic Park soundtrack, and I was playing that nonstop for like hours, like and finally like you need to learn some new stuff, and I did. Titanic soundtrack, of course,
Well, yeah.
uh,
I mean,
as
that's
one
just
does.
that's the logical evolution.
Yeah, that's the gateway drug, man. So
Jurassic Park to Titanic. I mean, it just makes
that's
sense.
it. Yeah, so that's how that kind of started with the piano and guitar. Like yeah, man, I do kick myself a little bit that like I didn't get into guitar more younger. I took lessons for a brief period of time, but I think because I was already better at the piano, I could play so much, the classical anyway. That guitar, my fingers were just kind of like, I don't know what this is. This is strange, and how do I make it work? And so like I didn't get that instant gratification of playing guitar. Um,
Gotcha.
but it's funny because now like it's like I hear this is true for languages too, right? Like if you after you learn one, or learn another one, like a second one, learning the third one's easier and the fourth one's easier. And I feel like that's true with musical instruments too. You kind of like I don't know how to play bass, but you could give me a bass and I bet you within like, I mean, I have one back there actually, but
Yeah.
and I'll plink around on it and I can find things that I like, even though I don't even really know what the heck I'm doing. Right. And I think there's part of that motor skills and also just kind of your ear knows what it wants to hear. So you can find it quicker. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so anyway, yeah, piano was the thing, and guitar, man, I honestly picked that up probably again in the past 4 or 5 years to start because I was doing everything on the piano and kind of via what's like MIDI, into what's like a called a DAW, which is a digital audio workstation, and so I would just kind of build these musical ideas and tracks and kind of build it out that way. But since becoming more of like a rock and roll focused type thing, um,
Hmm.
I've really wanted to pick up guitar so I can better, even if I'm not playing guitar, I want to be able to tell somebody else, hey, here's kind of what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
like the guitar you hear on any of my songs that have been released currently that are out. I'm not playing guitar. My producer, who used to play professional guitar for the world, playing guitar. I mean, he's the better guitar player. So like, yeah, I can play it, but I'd rather have him play it. He knows how to just make it sound better. Now, the keyboard stuff you'll hear, that's me playing because I'm a keyboard player.
Gotcha.
Um, but that's kind of like, yeah, just cobble it together and you pull from people's different strengths and you all sit in a room and you say, all right, what's working, what's not working, and you go from there. So I think that answered your
There you
question. I don't
go.
even know what was the
Yeah.
question.
I don't even remember anymore. I mean, that's cool though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, man, I could see that where going from a guitar to a bass would probably be somewhat similar. Like you were saying, like akin to learning a new language. You've got your root and then you just kind of build on that. And the way my mind works, I was like, but going from a guitar to like a tuba, I don't know. That might
Well,
be.
that's true. Now, so another little fun fact is I did play trumpet for a little bit when I was younger, and I forgot about that because I actually didn't like trumpet at all because that's another instrument where like you go from and here's my theory with that is because you go from playing a piano where you can do everything with just your two hands and like I can like make all cover the entire like spectrum of notes and make all these beautiful chords and melodies and basses, and then it's like I can play one note at a time and I have like this little range, and it just drove me nuts, and I was not very good, and you're right because of the I mean musically like I still could hear, like if I picked up a trumpet now I could probably actually pick it up better. I bet you I could play a trumpet now within a week or two better than I ever played it when I was younger if I picked it up now. But
Fair enough.
there's a structure and like a strength in your mouth that I did lose because I remember like I'd always have these giant lifts as a kid because from playing trumpet, they're always swollen, right?
Yeah. That's too
Uh,
funny.
wait, are you a tuba player? Is that what you're getting at?
Nope.
Did you ever play brass? No. Okay. Okay.
No, that I like I said, that's
Yeah.
how my mind works. I'm out there. But
Yeah. Well,
that's
you got me there.
awesome
You
that
are correct.
that's awesome that you have this skill though. I mean, your music is great. Everything that I've listened to has been amazing. So, do you have anything in the works right now that people should watch out for, or are you just kind of in brainstorming mode?
No. So yeah, there is a single that we've been working on, and this is a song. I think it's going to take a little while to get out because it's kind of like my white whale of a song. Like it's I
Okay,
think this is like this third song I wrote. And this is like I think I wrote it like 6 years ago, and I've recorded it 2 or 3 times prior. Um, and I'm talking about like professional recording, like paying people to go into a play studio and do this. And the first time it came out good, what I've realized is the first time it came out well, and that we did a great job. Um, Everybody else did a great job, but I was too new and too green to like I think to really make it what it needed to be. Also,
gotcha.
to singing, like I was not really a singer until like really focused on singing until about 5 or 6 years ago. Again, I was just more of a piano player. Um, so my voice, excuse me, was not really mature enough, I guess. And so now, I've definitely matured vocally. And I think I have, and so now, like, and then the second time we did it, I think I didn't have the direction. There's a lot of different people like, oh, we should do this, we should do that, and so kind of got cobbled together. And I listened to it at the end of it, and I'm like, well, this is crap. So I'm not going to release it. And so now we're going to do it again, and I'm doing it with Rich Stein, who's done all the other stuff you've heard, right? So he and I have worked on everything else, and he's always done a great job by me, and he listens really well. I think he kind of sees where I'm trying to take things, between you and me, and he knows this too, but I think eventually where I really would like to get to is where I do my own production and recording too. Maybe not engineering, but production for sure. I don't think I really want to be a mixing person because that's just there comes a point where you should take something you have and you've heard it a million times and you've just been obsessing over it for forever, and you say, hey, somebody else take it and listen to it and tell me if
Right.
it's terrible, if it's any good, and like make it better. So yeah, but me and Rich are working on this third single, well, I guess fourth single really, and it's called King Kong, and it's a really, it's one of the truest songs to me as a person, right? So like, every song you, a lot of you in it, right? This song is very autobiographical, and kind of captures a lot of just the inner workings of me, and I hope, I'm a weird guy like a lot of musicians are, but you hope that a lot of the things that are going on up here in my head, happen with other people as well, right? So they,
Yeah.
people can connect to it, and I do think that that's the case with this song. It's a song about being at the highest of highs and feeling really, really powerful, and being at the lowest of lows and feeling like pretty much nothing, and just how quickly sometimes you can switch between the two. So
Wow. That
yeah.
sounds like that's gonna be a powerful song. I could see why that would be, as you put it, your white whale. So that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a good song, and I really want to do it justice at some point. So we'll see how it goes. But sometime over the summer, I'm sure we're gonna get something out to you. And I have other songs that are queued up, and it's the process of like writing a song and playing on a guitar and singing here at home, or on Instagram live or whatever. That's one thing, and it, yeah, that's great. But to really get something that's commercial quality, I mean, it's amazing how much work that takes. And like until you do it as a musician, you think, yeah, I mean, anybody can like hook up a microphone and like record, and it's going to be great, and everybody's going to love it. And then it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
it's
Podcasters around the world are shaking their head right now, like,
yeah,
yep.
yep, yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
audio's hard.
So we are at the point of the show where I would like to open it up to you to do what's called shameless self promotion. And you can let the listeners and viewers know all the social medias that they can go to. If you have a website, where they can get your current music that's been released, just all that good stuff. You can tell them all about it right now.
Okay, I would love to, and thank you for the opportunity. Um, Pretty much anything Fallen Roads dot whatever. So I am most active on Instagram. I'm trying to get better about it too. And it's one of those things that
Yeah.
you know I like making the music, but sometimes the being socially forget. But I've gotten a lot better. So check out the Instagram, Fallen Roads on Instagram, Fallen Roads on Facebook too. And fallenroads.com. That's me as well. And yeah, I'm big on Spotify. That's kind of where I tend to check my metrics and kind of keep engaged a little bit more. But also like I'm on Apple Music too, and Bandcamp. Bandcamp's another thing too. It's
Oh, yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of forgot about Bandcamp, and then a friend of mine was like, "Hey, can you put it on Bandcamp so I can buy it?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'll just give it to you." And he's like, "No, no, I want to buy it from you." And I was like, all right, I'll put it on Bandcamp. You got it. Thanks, dude. And he's like, I'll buy you a beer with this $5. So thank you
That's
to
great.
Justin for that. Yeah,
All right. Well, cool.
yeah,
I'll make sure to put some links up to that on the podcast and the YouTube description. Probably most easily would be to your website. People can just click it, go there, and then probably get to all your socials from there.
yeah.
Um, so we have about 5 minutes left to play a little segment if you're interested. It's called The Wheel.
Okay.
And it's basically just a little color wheel. It's got a few different categories on it. Each of them has a little mini game. And, you know, there's a lot of fun little things to do. So if you're interested, we'll spin the wheel and see what kind of mini game you get.
I will absolutely spin the wheel. I'm now horrified and terrified of what's going to happen. But let's do it. Let's do it. And hopefully
it's
my dog
it's
will quiet down for a second.
it's
Jesus.
not always that bad, but all right, let's spin this sucker up and see what happens. Oh, you got would you rather. And this is great because I thought of this one while I was driving home today. And this is probably my most devious one I've ever thought of.
Come on, man. Fine,
would
fine, bring it
you
on.
would you rather smell using your feet or taste using your hands?
I feel like I'd rather smell using my feet, and I think it's because that's a little bit more. I mean, I can get real analytical on this, but I'm not going to. I think that's a more controllable freaks, if you will, right? So, based on my own personal hygiene and how often I do laundry and the shoes I wear, it might. I bet you I'd kind of get desensitized to that whole smelling with my feet thing. Tasting with my hands, man, you are. It's Wild West out there, man. You're gonna be in trouble. It's gonna be gross real fast. That's
I
that's my
agree.
answer. Yeah.
All right. And there was no right answer. It was just let's see what he says. So,
No, I'm pretty sure I got the right answer. That,
yeah,
that was
yeah,
it. That's it.
I don't know. I feel like that could go either way.
You can wear gloves. It's true. Yeah.
You could, but then you'd just be tasting latex all day and
Right. And that's not good. You don't want
yeah,
that.
nobody wants that. So Luke, Luke, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. You've been absolutely phenomenal and a lot of fun to talk to. You've just been amazing, man.
You too, Leo, man. Really appreciate you inviting me. Hopefully we get to do it again sometime soon. Maybe after King Kong comes out, we can hop back on and chat about that.
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be amazing for sure.
Me
So
too, man.
thanks again, and thank you to all the viewers and listeners who checked this out. Make sure to get to Luke's social and to his website. Follow along. Get to Spotify. Get those spins going. We
That's
we
right.
gotta get those numbers up, of course. So thank you all very much, and we will see you all next time. Bye. Oh, now that was an awesome interview. Thanks so much for listening. You all are so great. And don't forget to head to Facebook, Insta, and Twitter and follow The Leo Effects. If you want to hear some comedy and ridiculous voices, check out Shattered Dungeons on YouTube and all other places podcasts can be heard. And you'll hear me voicing crazy characters, usually pretty terribly. So thank you so much. You all are the absolute best. And we will see you all on the next episode.